Yeah, let's get right into it. Welcome to the story where coast to coast, everything is bad. Not really. The roads, though, are a mess thanks to winter storms. On the left, we've had several local highway closures, including practically all roads to Mount Hood. That's our local weather there. Highway 26, we should note, has reopened, but it was so bad earlier that the ski resorts on Mount Hood shut down for the entire day. On the right, you have the chaos in Virginia. Drivers stuck on a snowy highway for more than 24 hours. In some cases, that is a nightmare. And that includes U.S. Senator Tim Kaine. That's a photo of him showing up to the Capitol exhausted after a 26-hour commute, fueled by, he said, one orange and a 16-ounce Dr. Pepper. Oddly specific. There was also NBC correspondent Josh Lederman, who was stranded with his dog. And this woman on Twitter filmed her TV. She had my same reaction this morning. She could only focus on the dog. The dog's name, by the way, Josh later said was Jonas. He's fine, as is Josh. Both are home tonight. Very good to hear. My name is Maggie Vespa, and I'm here after the weather and all the airport chaos delayed my return to KGW for one day, but I had it easy compared to a lot of the people you just saw, as you can tell. This, if you're not familiar, is The Story. It's the show where we really want to hear from you. So email thestory@kgw.com. Use that hashtag #TheStoryKGW. We want your takes, the hottest of takes. Give them to us. And with that said, let's get right to our big story. Cue the hot takes. The reason we are kicking off the show so weather-centric with the weather video off the top is because these storms are historic. Yes, they've caused problems, of course, but they're also becoming more and more severe and more common. And in some realms, they're changing how we as a society live our lives. They have to. So let's start this conversation with the true expert. We have Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino standing by kindly. And Matt, we wanted to bring you in specifically to talk about the Mount Hood part of all of this, because I'm a layman. You're an expert both in weather and in skiing. And ski resorts shutting down because of snow just sounds kind of insane to me. Does it to you?
Yeah, you know, you made a good point earlier about how this is changing our behavior. It changed your behavior. Your travel got delayed by a day. It changed my behavior this morning because I was going to go skiing this morning and take advantage of all the new snow, but I couldn't get there. The gorge wasn't completely open yet, at least Highway 35 up and around that way. Couldn't go Highway 26, so I didn't ski today. Talk about changing behavior, right? This is unusual. We don't usually see snow close ski areas. It sounds kind of, like an oxymoron, right? But check out Timberline right now, snowing again. There's only been 4 inches new today, but in the last week, Timberline 54 inches new, and yesterday was the day. I mean, we had 25, 26 inches new snow at all the ski areas, even Ski Bowl, 51 inches new in the last 7 days with about 32 inches new in 24 hours, doubling their snowpack in 7 days. So that's how intense this snowfall has been. It really has been remarkable. Some other comments for you, numbers on this. At one point yesterday and late Sunday or Monday, we had snowfall rates of 8 inches every 3 hours. Think about that. That would be 2 feet in 9 hours if that kept up over that entire time period. That's really heavy snowfall. This comment from the manager, the mountain manager at Ski Bowl, saying, hey, most intense snowfall he can remember in the 34 years he's been there. He's seen 8 feet in 8 days, but this was wilder. This was more intense. So it is unusual to have the roads closed and therefore close the ski areas. And I talked to John Burton at Timberline about that.
When was the last time Timberline had to close because of too much snow or the roads being closed?
It happens if, it's not that uncommon. Too much snow, that's less common. I was talking to my colleague this morning, and he was thinking maybe 98 were something that, reflected something similar to what's going on today. Yeah, it's there has been a lot of snow, but it's more about the access right now.
That's interesting because that winter of 98, 99 set snowfall records in North America here in the Northwest. We're showing you video from the vault of what happened on Mount Hood in November of 2006. That's when a debris flow or a glacial outburst basically overwhelmed the bridge, the Highway 35 bridge over White River, the White River Canyon, and demolished it and deposited boulders to a depth of 8 feet on top of that bridge. And that closed Mount Hood Meadows. But that's because it was cut off because of the roads, both directions there for a while. That's the only time in recent memory that I can remember the areas being completely shut down for a day at the beginning or in the middle of the ski season because of weather and road conditions. And that was extreme. And that one, by the way, was not a rain on snow event or a snow on rain event. That was a rain on dirt event. We didn't have we didn't have much snowpack at that point. So what happened is we had intense rainfall in November. It hit those really steep dirt side canyons of Upper White River, and that all just came barreling down and wiped out the highway there, which is basically little more than a speed bump when you get a big debris flow like that, barreling down any river like that, Maggie. So yeah, this is unusual. A lot of people want to tie this to climate change. You need to do attribution studies to be definitive about that, but it certainly does seem like we're seeing more and more extreme events. That said, this is a La Nina winter, and we expected, other forecasters, other meteorologists and climatologists expected to get a lot of variability and a lot of wild weather. We typically do in a La Nina, and it has delivered so far after a little bit of a slow start. But yeah, it's been wild, and like you said, I'm sure it's going to continue to change our behavior.
It has been wild. And by the way, when we logged on to our morning meeting, all of us on Zoom, and I saw you sitting in your house, not up on the mountain, enjoying the ski season, my heart hurt for you, Matt.
Oh, I appreciate that, Maggie. Yeah. I actually told our boss yesterday, hey, if I'm on the morning, I won't be on the morning meeting because I'm going to go skiing. But there I was.
There you are. Well, we appreciate the expertise, Matt. Thank you so much, as always. So if any of us are tempted to bemoan our weather-related luck this week, let's once again get that reality check from Virginia. Such a mess. Snow and ice stranding hundreds of drivers, including, yes, U.S. senators and dogs, but also elderly people and people with babies, so on and so forth. Some were out there for more than 24 hours, running out of gas, running out of power. A lot of them didn't have food on them. Right now, we are not seeing any reports of anyone getting hurt from all of this, thank goodness. But our team got to talking on that meeting with Matt, who was not skiing. People out east were clearly caught off guard by this, and officials said that storm ramped up really fast. Still, it was forecasted. They knew that was coming. Unfortunately, not enough people took it seriously, and officials in Portland told us that sounds really familiar. Time now for another trip into the KGW vault, taking us back to the winter of 2016. Remember this? That epic, fast-moving snow and ice storm produced pure mayhem here. This is 2016. School buses at the time filled with little kids got stuck. People abandoned their cars on Portland's highways. And later they demanded to know, hey, Portland, where was the salt? Such a controversy, such memories. Lovely. Well, to that question about salt, or frankly any other mitigation measures, officials said the same thing here that their East Coast counterparts are saying there tonight. That storm was too strong and it moved too fast. And yes, you could salt the roads ahead of time, but truly anyone on them would still have been in danger. So what to do? One answer, they say, is emergency alerts. This is an example of the kind of alert officials have sent out recently during storms, I should say. Portland's Bureau of Emergency Communications sent me this example in which they, quote, strongly urge all residents to stay indoors and not travel due to ice. As you can imagine, that wording, that really direct wording, basically orders urging you, is no accident. In the aftermath of the 2016 storm that we just showed you, officials basically rewrote a lot of their emergency alerts to be more direct because these storms are more dangerous.
We have decided over the last number of years that we needed to be more direct and set expectations as clearly as possible for folks before they head out on the road. So that means that sometimes we're not always giving you the best news. Sometimes we are telling folks it's not great out there. You need to stay home if you can. And primarily what we try to do is really make it clear to folks that our roads during snow and ice are treated primarily for our emergency responders first and foremost, and then for transit. And everyone else is served after that.
So some of our viewers will say that shift in verbiage sounds kind of familiar. And you're right. A few weeks ago, we marked 6 months since Oregon's deadly heat wave, the one that killed close to 100 people. And officials told us in the wake of that tragedy, they're using stronger wording in their emergency alerts, also tied to heat. Phrases like stay inside and heat kills. But to be clear, officials know there's only so much they can do. Our weather is getting more and more severe. In a lot of cases, it's getting deadly, and the climate crisis is here. The last few weeks in Portland aren't even among the worst examples. We all know that, not by a long shot. But despite that, we still had tragedy. 76-year-old Henry Steele was found dead of hypothermia after visiting the VA hospital in Southwest Portland. And we told you last night, multiple people who are unhoused were badly burned by fires they lit to try and stay warm. All of this as officials struggled to open warming shelters for the homeless, not because they didn't have the space, but because they didn't have enough volunteers to run them. COVID, combined with the holidays, made finding people really tough. So in short, our weather is getting more dangerous, and our officials are doing everything they can to keep up and keep you informed. What can you do? They say you can heed those emergency alerts, take forecasts seriously, and have emergency supplies ready to go in your cars and your home. Finally, if you're so inclined, some say, call elected leaders. Let them know you want more done to curb this crisis. Vote for whomever you think will get that done, because at this rate, all we're doing is struggling to dodge the bullets.